right, good in there? All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let the record reflect all council members are present. Anyone have a conflict of interest tonight?
No.
Seeing none, any changes or deletions to the agenda?
One change, Mr. Mayor. Item F1 on the consent calendar has a revised resolution that we put in after the agenda went out.
Okay, is it updated in the Granicus?
You'd like to refresh it.
Perfect, thank you. And are there copies anywhere for the public if they want to see it? Do we have a copy anywhere?
They're available online on our agenda.
Perfect.
We didn't print the resolution.
That works, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to B, public comments. Any person wishing to speak in person on an item not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council is not allowed to consider issues or take action on any item not listed on the agenda. 3 minutes are allotted to each speaker. Do you have any? Please, ma'am. We need to turn on her microphone. Not yet. Give us 1 second, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Charlotte Chanzer. I'm a property owner of 310 Elbridge Avenue in Cloverdale. I have been for almost 5 years. I'm here to request that you review some of the policies of the water department, namely that they notify the owner if there's a major water leak, any kind of leak. My property has been leased for 4 years, 3.5 years to the same tenant who is responsible for the utilities. Unbeknownst to me, he rented out a room and had this person put the water in his name. I have no connection with this person, no agreement, tacit or otherwise. Apparently, the water board, water department sent numerous letters to this person at the address stating that there was a leak. I was never notified. I would have fixed it immediately. So in between, 5 months later, I find out about it. And I immediately had it repaired, which was $7,000. I was never notified by the water board of this. And still to this day, I've gotten a copy of something that says that I'll be responsible for the bill, $1,600, if they don't collect it from the tenant, which of course they're not. Not from the non-tenant, from the squatter, whatever you call him. So I believe it's totally unfair, unjust, lacking due process that the water board can come after me financially for something I've never been notified of. Are there any opinions, or do I get an opinion?
Well, under public comment, we're not allowed to comment, but we can ask clarifying questions. And so I do have a couple if
Okay,
you're
good.
ready. My first question, you said that the tenant had the water bill in his name, correct? Or the non-signed tenant, correct?
Originally, the named tenant had it in his name for a month, then changed it to this unknown person.
So this unknown person got multiple notices, correct?
At the address where he no longer lived.
Who sent you the notice that says that you have to pay it?
Oh, I have to, under section 13.04.160 parenthesis S. Failure to pay for water furnished to property either owned or rented or leased to the customer of record shall constitute a lien against the subject real property after due notification has been given to the owner of the real property.
Okay. Did Cloverdale send you a letter?
I've never had a letter.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that was the part I was missing.
I
is
have
because you
gone
said
to
that you
them,
were told, and I
and,
just want to make sure. Okay.
It may be since the person of record, customer of record, was neither rented to or leased by me, it may not apply, hopefully. But I've known too many cases, I'm a realtor, of people owning property that's leased and the tenant doesn't pay the bill. And at the end, the owner is given a bill for 2,000 whatever, and they lien their property. So I'm asking you to recommend that the water department notify an owner immediately.
Okay.
Okay, one other thing that maybe you're not aware of, in the cottages in Cloverdale, Christopher's home, you cannot detect a leak because they put the pipes in a chase, another pipe. So you have to put in a whole new line if there's a leak.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for
For
listening.
your time, ma'am, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, City Council members, staff. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brooke Green. I represent Cloverdale on the Sonoma County Library Commission. I've got a couple of quick updates for you folks tonight. You probably know the library is closed for wonderful upgrades. We're working on the patio, upgrading the patio in part due to a bequest from Claire McGowan, who was a public school teacher here for many years. It's going to be a wonderful event space for the library and the community. And we're upgrading the bathrooms to make them more ADA compliant. So the library will be closed. The planned reopen date is March 24th. But I want people to be reassured that if they call the library, it will be routed to another branch. And the bibliobus will be in town 3 times on March 14th, 21st, and 24th. And we have the bibliobox, which is like an Amazon locker, and you can reserve your books, and they'll be right at our branch. So all in all, a little inconvenience for a real improvement. The other thing I wanted to mention is that most of you probably know that Cloverdale is a member of the Joint Powers Agreement with Sonoma County Library with the other municipalities who are members. And we periodically do a review of the JPA, and we're just starting that process now. So you all, our stakeholders, will be getting a fairly simple survey so we can have your input as we go through the review process. So that's what I wanted to let you know, unless you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Anyone else in the audience would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the student liaison report. Keiko, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
All right, thank you. Here's my report. Spring is just around the corner for the Cloverdale Unified School District. On March 7th, the elementary school hosted a family movie night. The movie featured was the 2012's The Lorax. Snacks and drinks were provided, and the gymnasium was decorated beautifully with balloons, streamers, and cutouts of the characters. For the middle school, on February 24th to tomorrow, as celebration of St. Patrick's Day, there will be a coin drive. Students were asked to bring in coins to their homeroom class for 5th and 6th graders or their 7th period class for 7th and 8th graders. The class with the most coins collected will win a cookie party. On the night of March 13th, all coins collected will be taken by the leprechauns, and a fun surprise will be given in their place. Last Friday, the high school had their annual senior boys pageant, Mr. Eagle. Each boy showed off their wits, talents, and fashion in different events. Congratulations to Santino Damati for winning and earning the title of Mr. Eagle. Spring sports have begun as well, with track, tennis, baseball, and softball having their first few meets and games. Congratulations to varsity softball and baseball for their first wins of the season. Prom is coming up very soon. Tickets will be sold during lunch this week and this week only. This year's theme is Enchanted Forest and will be held at the Hyatt Hotel in Santa Rosa. Also for prom, the school is hosting a promposal competition where the duo with the best promposal submission will be refunded their tickets. Also for the schools, specifically for the 8th through 11th graders, the end of the school year is coming up fairly soon, so it is time for them to pick their new or first classes for high school, or if they're already in high school, their new classes. March 10th was Cloverdale High's Parent Information Night, where what there is to know about new classes, sports, clubs, and more was provided. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Questions? Comments? Are you playing softball?
Yep.
How's it going? You better be. I was going to be mad if you weren't. So how's it going for you?
We won 3 games we played. 3.
If you could get us a schedule, you have the city email. If you could send it to our email, and I can give it to everyone. We'd love to come watch you play.
Okay. I could probably scan the copy I have and send it to you.
Or you can send it in a text message if you would like to. You have my number. You can just take a picture of it, and I can get it out to everyone.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you. And I know you have to leave tonight for a very good cause, and so thank you for being here. We really appreciate your great report.
Thank you for having me.
Right, we'll move on to D, proclamations. D1, the proclamation for Red Cross Month. Councilmember Lasky.
Thank you, Mayor. A proclamation of the City Council of the City of Cloverdale proclaiming March 2025 American Red Cross Month. Whereas the people of Cloverdale exemplify a strong humanitarian spirit, coming together in times of crisis to support one another, as demonstrated by the dedicated volunteers and donors of the American Red Cross. And whereas, since its founding by Clara Barton nearly 150 years ago, the American Red Cross has remained committed to preventing and alleviating human suffering, a mission carried forward by volunteers in Cloverdale and across the nation who provide disaster relief, blood donations, military support, life-saving training, and international aid. And whereas this March we celebrate American Red Cross Month by recognizing the compassionate acts of people in the city of Cloverdale and by renewing our commitment to lend a helping hand to our neighbors in need. Since Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross almost 150 years ago, generation after generation has stepped up to deliver relief and care across our country and around the world. The volunteers, blood and platelet donors, and financial supporters who now give back through the Sonoma Napa disaster response area of the American Red Cross remain unwavering in their commitment to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of today's emergencies. And whereas these voluntary and generous contributions shine a beacon of hope in people's darkest hours, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting service members, veterans and their families, saving lives with first aid, CPR, AED, and other skills, or delivering international aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. And whereas this work to uplift our community is truly made possible by those who selflessly answer the call to help whenever or wherever it's needed, we hereby recognize this month of March in honor of their remarkable service and ask everyone to join in their commitment to care for one another. And whereas the City Council of the City of Cloverdale dedicates this month of March to all those who will lead with their hearts to serve people in need and continue to advance the noble legacy of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, who lived by her words. You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Todd Lands, Mayor of the City of Cloverdale, does hereby proclaim March 2025 as Red Cross Month in Cloverdale and encourages all citizens of Cloverdale to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Dated March 12, 2025, so ordered, Mayor Todd Lands.
Thank you, sir. Tonight we have two representatives from the Red Cross, Dennis and Andy. Would you guys like to come up and say a few words?
Mayor Lands, City Council, familiar faces, and good to see you again for the auspicious month of March, being Red Cross Month. Very well read. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. Mike, good to see you again. And Keith, welcome. Welcome. They both were very helpful in getting the proclamation edited in nice format for us. Appreciate it. You know, Red Cross does all those things that the proclamation said. We're still trying to get a blood drive in Cloverdale. I know we're working on that.
That comment was coming, yeah.
And I did notice coming in the central exit that there is a mobile home park right when you come in. And one of the big activities that we do in our blue sky period, which is when there's not a disaster, is we install smoke alarms. And we do that at no charge for the alarms or for the volunteer labor. And I'm going to get in touch with the Cloverdale Mobile Home Park and see if they feel like they have a number of folks there that need smoke alarms. We don't only do mobile home parks, we do regular residential areas too. It's just so much easier to do a park where there's an HOA and a manager, as opposed to going door to door and asking folks, do you have smoke alarms? Would you like smoke alarms? But we can do that too, if City of Cloverdale feels there's a need. You know what I do. I came here from the Tubbs fire and the Kincaid fire and just kind of hung around and did smoke alarms, and I do preparedness talks with first, second, and kindergarten students. I used to be California Teachers Association representative. I did a lot of negotiations in Cloverdale. This young man, Dennis Sigmund, his mother is my wife, and she is one of those folks that you see on television out at the LA disaster, in the hurricanes in Florida and Carolina. And so Denny's kind of inherited his Red Cross involvement, and I'll let him talk a little bit about what he's doing.
Hello, my name is Denny. I also help out with Red Cross. I do disaster for DAT, which is if somebody has a major fire or gets displaced, we come in, we try to help them, show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If they need help with money, Red Cross does help them with some money to get them back on their feet. I also do SAF, which is Services to the Armed Forces. And what we can do is, say somebody gets shipped, your son or daughter, or whoever gets shipped out, Red Cross is on every single base in America, and all over the world. So we can get messages to them. If your veterans need help, for instance, at the VA, we can get that for them. If they had said, well, I can't get to my appointment, the Red Cross can come in and say, look, we'll get you to that appointment. I volunteered down at the VA down in Santa Rosa and help out down there. And I also help out with Andy doing Sound the Alarm, which is the smoke alarm stuff. So, which is a wonderful, wonderful group. And like I said, my mom is Betsy, and she's the one that does a lot of the other stuff. And it's just been wonderful for what we do. And that's it.
So again, we want to thank the
Thank
City
you.
Council and the Mayor for passing the proclamation again this year. It's nice to see you every year.
Absolutely. Same to see you as well. Let's give a little round real quick and see if anyone has any questions or comments first. Anything?
Andy, real quick, we've got to get something going on this blood drive. I haven't forgot about you. I was unaware there was a limit or borders to how far they would go and do a blood drive, so.
There were limits. Just 2 years ago, I have to go back
Right.
and make sure that that commitment is still there. If you've got 50 people willing to sign up, we can do a blood drive over at the community center or, any location.
And would that be the truck coming up here, like a van, or not van, but the truck comes up?
Our big Red Cross van that you may have seen up here for different
Okay.
activities. They would come up and they would set up a sign-in station. They would set up tables for people to lie down and give blood. They have a whole traveling rig. It's often at our office at least once a month. For local people there. But I know it's a long ways for Cloverdale people to drive to give blood.
Well, if I could, Andy, could I have you email me that list, the sign-up sheet again?
to my city email, and I'll start firing that back up, because I know I can get 50 people. We kind of lost momentum on it, and I want to...
Going through, Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, all those clubs will help you out. And you've got a former attorney, maybe he's still an attorney, who plays a lot of music. He might sing the Red song, the Red Cross
There you go.
Blood Drive song for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, guys.
And I'd like to thank you, Dennis and Andy, for your continued service to Cloverdale and the rest of the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great working with you.
I wanted to thank you both and the entire Red Cross, because I know when there's an emergency, the Red Cross is always some of the first people there. Thank you.
And as always, do you mind if we take a photo with you?
Sure, no, that's great. As long as Mark promises to, Mike promises to send it to you.
Got it, Mike?
I just want to hear Mike say, if you can't see it, I can't see it.
Thank you.
Andy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'll give that to you.
To be honest, Mike, we'll just hold it open.
Okay.
At the,
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Andres, good to see you.
Thank you.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I was thinking from like Napa, because I want to see what people want to see on those planters and all that stuff, dude. There's a lot. I know it's going to fire.
Todd, I didn't realize that was you with a hat on.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't have one when I saw you up there. Have a good rest of your week. Thanks a lot. Enjoy Red Cross Month.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, moving forward into E, presentations. E1, the Plaza Park survey results. Is this going to be you, Mike?
Share my screen. Apologies to anybody in our audience tonight that our projector's not working, but on our screen, let me move some of these things around. Sorry, I got a lot of controls in my way. All right. So we did a survey recently. We had it open for about 5 or 6 months about the Plaza Park, which is the downtown area between the police station and the boulevard, right next to City Hall. We had about 300 folks fill it out, about 292 to be exact. So I'm just going to go through the answers really quick that we got from our different survey questions and give it up for council to discuss after how they, maybe give direction on what they want to do with this. We can't make any actions tonight again, but it's more of a send this back to a subcommittee or what you'd like to do. So with that said, question 1 was the relative age of folks. You can see here, we only had 2 people under 18, a mix in between, and the majority being at 104 of our responses came from 65 and up. So just give you a range of who's responding to this quiz. The frequency of the Plaza Park, you can see that the majority of folks that answered this go for events. So it's not used as frequently as some of our other parks, but it is used daily, weekly, monthly by different groups. But events is the primary use. Question 3 is our typical time of usage. Again, this is more of a, do people go in the mornings, afternoons, evenings, or events? Events definitely won out with evenings, afternoons. Next up, what are your favorite activities in the plaza? We made quite a list. I'm gonna try to make this so I can actually read it. The majority being Friday Night Live. Next being the farmers market, annual car show, annual parades. This wasn't a surprise to us. We understand that the downtown boulevard in this section is definitely heavy on events, and that's, as we'll get into future questions, that is what the public is most interested in this park. So you can see other people do use it for exercise, picnics, breaks from work, resting, relaxing, things that people use parks for typically, but the events are definitely the bringer of crowds. So this kind of just breaks down a little bit more in percentages and numbers. How would you rate the accessibility of Plaza Park for visitors with disabilities or mobility challenges? So this brings up more of the ADA access, and we're happy to see that the majority felt good, excellent, and fair, and poor being only 5 folks, 1.74% of the responses. How would you rate the current park facilities? Another one that we were happy to see that it was good, being the majority. Excellent and fair. Fair being 93 of the responses. And which brings us into question number 7. I would imagine most of those folks filled this out as what most desired amenity improvements are they looking for? And you can see that additional seating, and that can be some cement seating. This did go to the infrastructure subcommittee. We discussed it a little bit more, but that's kind of that like stadium seating that people are interested in, cement block type. Improved shading, as you know, Cloverdale can get pretty toasty. Improved landscaping, improved lighting, and stage improvements, as well as things like chess, checker tables. We had different things, just different kind of recreational activity, similar to what we put in the other parks as far as lawn games are things that people are interested in, but the vast majority were interested in seating, shading, landscaping, things to make the events a little more hospitable. Question 8, this is a word cloud. So basically people filled this out, 136 folks filled it out, 157 skipped, but it was please provide any additional suggestions or comments related to potential Plaza Park improvements. Rather than providing all 136 full answers, AI kind of grabs the most used words. So you can see that in their larger and different color codings based on how often they were used. Events was by far used the most. Things like homeless there was used quite a bit. That doesn't mean that people are interested in the area. It's probably based on their sentences or paragraphs that they're looking for either more enforcement or they're looking for other things for the unhoused folks to be able to go to rather than the Plaza Park. So you can kind of see in this, but if any of you are interested in the 100 answers, I'm happy to forward it to you just so you can really go through it and look at the answers to each person's. I know Hector, our park superintendent, is going to be looking through these as well. Question 9, what type of events or programs, children's, adults, or seniors, would you like to see organized by the Parks and Recreation Department, specifically at Plaza Park in the future? As you know, we're invested in starting the recreation division, and we're really trying to get some more activities, Plaza Park being one of them, especially since events were so prominent. As you can see, it was used quite a bit during this word cloud by 152 responders, as well as, outdoor shows, farmers markets, increased activities, more holiday events, family events. You guys kind of get the idea there. Again, we have 152 specific answers that we, myself and our park superintendent, are going to be diving into. But that is our responses. The survey is closed. But any other questions or comments? We just wanted to give that out to you. I know our city manager, Thompson, want to take the floor next.
Just to add, we are doing some improvements to the stage, small incremental improvements, but we did put the cover on, so that keeps the sun off and the rain. And we're going to do some stage lights. We're going to replace the fans, and also we're going to have some speakers. So that was approved at last council meeting, a budget amendment, and we've already met with the vendors, and so that's underway. And hopefully we'll be up and running before Friday Night Live. And that will be available to the chamber and anyone who wants to use them. We made it very specific that the speakers are easily, you can hook into them, and the lights will be also available to anyone. So there are some things happening down there.
Thank you both. Let's go through questions or comments.
I really like the idea of having ping pong tables. I think that's one thing they have down at Stinson Beach, and it's something that always is a main attraction that really actually brings folks to the area. So, as well as the chess and the checkers, I think would be great.
Okay. Councilmember Lasky?
Yeah, we had talked about doing the shade structure and maybe the misters also, because it's.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, we're talking about doing the misters. We just need to make sure they don't kind of get onto the speakers, which are going to be in the front. We're going to keep the speakers out there all summer, and there's a camera on them for the police to keep an eye on them, and they're going to be high up. And then in the winter, we'll take them down, but when the chamber needs them, we'll be able. Long story short, we just want to make sure the misters are not getting onto the speakers, but we still are looking into the misters. I think it's
Do we have any
great idea.
input from like architect for the ADA? That was part of the response. Any of that?
We haven't-
More ADA accessible?
We haven't done that part yet, but I think we're probably going to look for a little direction on some of these results to see if we want to continue improving the plaza. Like I said, we're doing small incremental things, But if the direction from this survey is to bring it back to a subcommittee and maybe start itemizing these things and getting prices and seeing what kind of money we have to do them, I think would be a good step.
That's my suggestion. Thanks, Kevin. We ran this by the last infrastructure subcommittee. I'd like to see it go back there, and like you said, kind of pick and choose which ones we want. I know seating was huge, and for Friday Night Live, I'd like to see us come up with a better seating arrangement out there. We had some ideas. I'd like to kick those around again at the infrastructure subcommittee and then bring them back to council. I think they're doable, cheap, relatively cheap, and it's going to get a lot more people into that plaza. And along with some of the landscaping ideas, I think those kind of are combined together, and we'll come up with something really good down there and get this plaza fired up as it should be.
Yeah, we really haven't done a ton of things to it over the years. We restained the pergolas and painted the light poles, but I think it needs a little sprucing up, so I'm glad to hear that you guys are supporting that.
And not only this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do like the new benches, though, that we,
The benches too, that's right.
yeah. So that was a great improvement, really.
Yeah, with this being 25 to 30 years old, we've outgrown it at this point, and I think that we need to look at how it's currently used and expand from that so that we can at least meet the current needs, but look into the future a little bit with this. And so that's, like when they talk about seating, I look at Friday Night Live and how everyone brings a chair in. So if we did the stadium seating, I don't know how many of the demographic that goes to Friday Night Live and sits in the front would be able to get on the concrete stadium seating. So it's just things like that we might want to, when it goes back to infrastructure, if that's where everyone chooses, and I think that's a great idea, think about those kind of questions. Next step is, okay, well, what type of seating are you looking for? Is it benches? Is it, like we did with the metal seats? Is it concrete? Is it a mixture? I don't know, but that's the type of stuff I'd be looking for. I'd hate to put in really nice concrete seating and then have everyone complain because they can't get on it or off of it. So I love it. I'm looking forward to expanding it. I also look at things like, I know that it's wrong time with water, but grass, and you can pitch it in the right direction so that people can sit on it, and it's almost like its own stadium seating, and they can sit there and see in different levels and things like that. That makes it also cooler having grass there versus concrete during the summer hours.
I forgot to mention the restroom, which of course was our biggest investment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that thing.
It's been there so long.
We've
now.
done a lot in the last 3 years to that.
Right. Looks good.
It really does. So
I'd like to add one thing, if I may, Mayor. The grass area that is next to the bathroom is really used by families and children when, sometimes maybe the kids aren't into the bands at Friday Night Live, so something maybe for the kids as well.
Yeah, the grass area is
Families
packed
out.
with kids running.
Yep.
It's always good to see, so keep that in mind.
Thank you.
And on that note, with these Plaza Park survey results, we have done Ferber previously. We did a survey for that. We did Plaza Park. City manager and I discussed doing one for each park. Give them each a couple months, report back. I don't know if you want to do each individual one, but we usually go to the infrastructure subcommittee first before going to council. But we want to have an idea of what people are interested in the parks. Even if we don't have the budget yet, we can at least have an idea of what the community is looking for in their parks.
And we need to be thinking about 10 years ahead with this. Something to remember is New Park or the Hillsburg Avenue Park. That one has an agreement with all the neighbors that they have to go through, and you have to have, I think it's 90% of the neighbors have to sign off on any choices, and they have to make those choices. So it's something that even if we did a survey, it would be virtually difficult or impossible to get done. So think about that. If you're going to go that route to that park, that it reaches out to the neighbors first, I would say. And I don't say that because I am one, because I love any ideas that go on. I say that because I know that we've tried to do things in the past, and it was a lot of no's because it wasn't done correctly.
Real quick, too, one thing I think this is a good time to bring it up is with these surveys. I like the idea of all those to get in all the parks. It's kind of like an ongoing work list or whatever. We know what people want to see at our parks. I'd like to combine and throw in also the boulevard down there to couple it with the plaza and see what people are looking at on the boulevard. They walk up and down there. Do they have different ideas for if there's something we could do with, for instance, planters or, see what people want to see on the boulevard? And we can spruce up if we're going to make the plaza look great, which I'm sure we will, and turn around and start doing the same thing to the boulevard. It's money driven, obviously, but get some ideas out there, and we'll see what the town wants.
I think with these surveys, this last one, we had 5 or 6 months open. That's kind of how it worked with my leave and stuff, but I think each one, maybe 2 to 3 months would be a little bit better, just to consolidate and be like, this is your time frame to answer if you're interested, if not.
Anything else? Anyone in the public want to make a comment regarding this? Seeing none, you have good direction. Mike and Kevin? Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
All right, we will move on to F, the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar will be considered together by one action of the city council unless any council member or member of the public requests that an item be removed and considered separately. Is there anyone on the council who'd like to pull an item? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to pull an item? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Move to approve by the Vice Mayor. And we have a second by Councilmember Marquez. I will do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you. Passes 5-0. We will move into H, new business. H1, the City of Cloverdale audited financial statements for the fiscal year 23-24. And for this, we have our financial officer who does not want to sit up top.
So we have Terry Krieg, our CPA, who is going to be joining us on Zoom. But local governments are required to have an independent auditor review their finances every year and produce an independent auditor's report. The city is contracted with Terry Krieg, CPA, and he is present tonight to present the financial statements for the fiscal year June 30th, 2024. And with that, I'll hand it over to Terry.
Have received permissions. There we go.
Terry, you're on mute. If you could unmute yourself on the screen.
Can you hear me now?
1 second, Terry. We don't have any sound yet. You're unmuted, but now there's no sound on this end. Give us 1 second.
If you see next to ours how it's blinking up and down, is this stagnant? It means it's not actually connected to the
Can you hear me now?
Terry, do you have a microphone on the computer you're using right now that is turned on? Our side shows that you don't have an active microphone.
There may be difficulty with the audio here.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
It needs to go to where this little area, the little caret is, and under microphone, it's probably going to have to select different.
Okay. How is this?
I can walk through it too.
That would probably be best.
All right, Terry. So from our side, we're seeing that you do have a microphone, but it's not connecting audio. So if you're using a laptop, computer, any device where you see the little microphone that says where you muted and unmuted, there's a little caret next to that. And if you select that little upward facing caret, there's a select a microphone option. You might have to select a different microphone because right now we can't hear you, and on our end, on the back end, we can't. Oh, there we go. Now we're moving. You want to go ahead and test it out, Terry?
Can you hear me now?
And Toby, that audio is up all the way that we usually do for Zoom.
I'll put him on the cell phone.
Also attached over here, so maybe I'll give
Try
him
that one.
permission. He's got two. Here, I just gave the other account permission, so maybe if you want to talk through there, we'll be able to hear both. See you on here and talk on the other one.
Can you hear me?
Still can't hear you, Terry.
Fortunately, yeah, it's on their end.
I know, I can see the microphone right there. It's not moving at all. What's he going to call?
How about now?
Still can't, Terry. Give us 1 second. We're trying to figure out a way to make this work for you.
Okay, thank you.
He remuted himself, yeah.
Hello?
Toby, you can go ahead and pause the recording for now while we work out this technical difficulty. There's no one else following on stream right now.
Even if we do, it's not registering in his microphone.
You can see the microphone there, moving up and down? Yeah. His don't, and that usually indicates that it's not connected to the right thing. He has a microphone connected. Go through this carrot and pick a different one. So Terry, what we want you to do, if you can, you'll have a little unmute mute button. This little carrot here, there's a select microphone option. We just need you to select something else because what you've selected right now is not picking up your audio.
I see.
Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do on our end other than
Okay.
walk you through it. But I'm going to go ahead and look up a phone number that you'll be able to call. If you want, you can maybe use a phone to call us.
Okay. So. Okay, just a second here. Okay. 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 I'll give it a try. Hello?
Broadcast.
Talk through my phone and I'll hold you up to the microphone, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to present to you
June 30, 2024 audited financial statements. The way it's organized, kind of go through the various parts of the financial statements and discuss with you some review comments. The pages 1 through 3 contain my independent auditor's report. And in that report, I've expressed an independent accountant's opinion that the city's June 30, 2024 financial statements do present fairly the financial position of the city's governmental activities, its business type activities, its major funds, and the remaining funds, and changes in financial positions for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2024, all in conformity with the county principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Pages 4 through 12 present management's discussion and analysis section, which is your management's personnel, financial analysis of the city's year-end financial position and changes in financial position. I will not rehash that with you because I'm sure it's available for you before this meeting. On pages 13 to 14 is presented the government-wide financial statements, which presents a balance sheet or position and income statement or changes in activities that summarize the city's 2024 financial activity as if the city were a commercial organization. The difference being that the government-wide financial statements include your long-term debt obligations, your capital assets, and depreciation expense and accumulated depreciation, which are displayed in the financial statements. As far as the changes in governmental activities, there was an increase of about 3.7 million. The majority of that, about $2.1 million, was derived from the contribution of about 200 plus acres of an open space land parcel that was dedicated to the city for recreational purposes. That shows on the top of page 14. 283,610 at the top of the page. In terms of changes in activities, activities increased by $2.8 million in fiscal 24. But that was primarily the result of receiving capital impact fees and an urban drought relief grant of about $1.6 million. I think the thing that's important to keep in mind in looking at your business type activities is that on an overall basis, not those grant revenues and those impact fees in fiscal 2024, the collective enterprises would only basically have broken even with no net increase. 2025 to see that you're sufficient to provide for some sort of a net increase. On pages present the traditional fund accounting statements using the modified accrual basis of account. Since the balance sheet and changes in fund balance for your general fund, which ended the year with a $9 million fund, which actually is a net increase of about $1 million over fiscal 2023. Your employee retirement tax fund ended 24 with a $1.9 million net increase. And your low and moderate income fund end of the year with a $1.6 million fund balance. That fund balance arose last year from the sale of restricted housing. The governmental funds ended 2024 with about $7.6 million. And most of that really is because equity funds. Pages fund statements for the city's reporting on an accrual basis. And the airport funds, which are funded primarily by user charges. All of your enterprise funds operated at a positive net position at the end of 2024. The positive net earnings, except for the airport, positive cash flows, except for the water enterprise funds, which recorded a $4 million decrease in cash.
Hey, Terry, can I stop you for 1 second, please?
Hey, Terry,
Yes.
we're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you, and I think it's because you're not speaking into your phone.
Can we postpone this for 2 weeks and put it on our
Yes.
next agenda, and so that we can make sure that everything's working correctly?
Yes. Terry, can we do this again in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll work with you to make sure that the microphone.
It's just too important to, I mean, when we're looking at budget deficits, I really want to understand this, and this is not going to do it,
Okay,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Is it okay with everyone here? Anyone have a? What's that? We're just going to table it at this point because of technical difficulties and put it on our next agenda.
Okay, Terry, did you hear that? We're gonna table this.
And Susie, thank you, and tell him we said thank you as well.
Okay, thanks, Terry.
Sure.
Bye.
Alex, is it okay for me to do it like that? I just want to make sure. Thank you.
He's in Arizona. Yeah.
Can you do a dry run with him so we can?
Yeah, we actually did a dry run an hour ago. But I'll have him share his screen and maybe prompt him a little better.
Come a little early, just make sure it's this system since it's a little different.
Yeah.
So it works at City Hall and not over here?
It worked with me, but it did take a minute for everything to connect, so, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And Susie, thank you for your patience with that and trying. We really appreciate it. That cuts a lot out of our meeting, unfortunately, because that's the one major thing I really wanted to hear tonight. We will move into subcommittee reports. Is there anyone that has anything that they would like to report from any subcommittees that have gone on recently? Councilmember Morgenstern, you want to talk about the admin subcommittee?
No.
Oh, we had an admin subcommittee this week. We discussed a few different topics. One of them was revamping the cannabis tax and the way it is done. And so the city's going to be reaching out to all of our cannabis companies and setting up an ad hoc meeting so that we can discuss our ideas and get their input on it before it goes forward to the subcommittee and then to the council. And then it's really
The bonding.
That's right. Well, so we also brought up the idea. So when Measure DD passed, we wanted to look at different ways to achieve the funding versus pay-as-you-go type of style. We wanted to see the options that are out there through the companies that exist. And so we brought in the company that helped us do the survey to get ideas of what it would cost to bond against the money coming in from Measure DD, so we can see what it would cost us in the long run and how that compares to inflation and your CPI and the cost of materials and things that go along, everything all encompassing. So we're going to do a little homework, so we figured out what it would cost for different levels of bonding, whether it be a quarter of what the 0.75%, a half of the 3/4, and then full. And what we want to do is see which one, if any, are financially smart for us to do. And we'll break it down, with the cost of materials now, what we expect them to be in 20 years, and with the life of the bond, talk about if we can pay early on these bonds so that we cut out all the interest and things like that. But looking at all those options would make it easier and probably better for the city to be able to achieve a lot of the projects and ideas that we want to do here with our infrastructure and our parks and our public safety. So with that, that meeting, Mike, is that one recorded in online or no? Okay, so that meeting will be posted online on YouTube and on our website. Anyone else have any other meetings that have gone on? Seeing none, all of our agendas and dates, they're all posted on our Cloverdale website. Council member reports. Anyone have any informational reports or anything they want to give regarding any regional boards or anything they've been? I see Councilmember Lasky.
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to say that I attended my first regional board with the Sonoma Clean Power, and I will be getting my education into what their program's all about, what they're going to, kind of outreach they do for their community, and get a little involved as we move along.
Okay, so we will be, I'll talk a little bit about the progress of the town hall that we all approved for the special meeting. I've been reaching out with the city to prepare different speakers and see who would be interested from Potter Valley all the way to Healdsburg. And we've gone as far as, we have people that want to be involved right now are some Lake County supervisors, Mendocino County supervisors, some of the Potter Valley Agriculture Committee or people, the Sonoma County Farm Bureau, Chris Kalum. There is no tribes yet. However, we've reached out to a couple, and I have someone reaching out today as well to see if we can get some interest. The flyers have gone out. There's a lot of interest in this. A lot of people are calling. There's a lot of have 2 production crews that want to come, and a lot of newspapers that are wanting to be here. I have personally met with Supervisor Gore and invited him personally. We met with Congressman Huffman's office yesterday, the city manager and I did, and we personally invited them at the end of our meeting. Is there anyone that I'm missing that we've reached out to? And
Part of the legislative update is a copy of the letter that the mayor
correct, that'll be
wrote, and that was sent to Supervisor Gore, Rabbit, and Representative Huffman. And so it's part of the packet. You can read.
There is one other. I have spoken with Senator McGuire, and then I also the same week his staff reached out, and we had a good conversation regarding this as well. They also had an item with that one, since we're talking about different things. They also had an item that I asked them to discuss is the smart train. And so in the end of March, Senator McGuire and his staff want to come up here and do a walk around and look at the ideas for SMART and the Great Redwood Trail and things along those lines, and discuss further how they can help with Potter Valley project and the water supply. So that's where all that's at. It's about 6 meetings a day, and it's exhausting, but we're going to do good things with this council to save the water supply here in Cloverdale. One of the things that we're working on with that, with the production crew, is doing interviews. And so with the interviews, if anyone here is interested in having an interview done or anything, or being part of the speaking portion of any of this before it starts, let me know, and we'll see where we can incorporate everyone in their part. With this being a special meeting, everyone, I'm hoping, will be there. If you're not planning on it, please let us know, because it's, it's like missing a council meeting, because that's technically what this is. And we'll have an agenda set up. Really, it's even though it's our meeting, it's a lot of different speakers and things that go on in a town hall. So how I introduce the beginning of our meetings, that's kind of what my part is. And then I'll maybe have a 5-minute blurb about how it affects Cloverdale. But the rest of it are different speakers and things that go on. And it's almost like having a panel like we are. And as the town hall and the public will ask questions, whoever can answer it the best will be the person that speaks up. So if you guys have anything that you have questions with, you can either give them to me, as I'll be the person on the panel, or you can come up as anyone in the public and just ask the question like anyone else. If you want to be part of this, I'm trying to limit how much the speakers talk, because you don't want this meeting to drown out and everybody get tired of it. But if you want, we can have a second person up front. So if we wanted to do it that way and we're really adamant about it, we can make it work. But I would really think that it's in everyone's best interest to have our part be the smallest, because we can easily say how the water affects us, boom, we're out. But the Potter Valley all the way down, we want to make sure that we give them the time that they need as well. So that's my suggestions. If anyone has anything, like we've talked about in the past, and we brought it up in closed session, we brought it up here last meeting. If you want to reach out to me and give me any suggestions or with our city manager and city attorney so that we can really make sure that everyone's needs and ideas and thoughts are heard. However, we also have to remember this is a town hall and it incorporates a large region. So we can't, do full discussions here, but questions, comments, concerns,
Well, I just wanted to say, are we going to have people write down their questions on a piece of paper and then pass them?
These are the ideas that I want to bring up is I was thinking no, because with that, then you have a lot of time trying to talk to each question there, and the people in the audience don't feel heard. They feel like the people that got their questions read. The setup that we've designed so far, and it's all this is rough. This is just ideas we've all put out there, is you have 2 sets of chairs separated like you saw at the geotech, but we'll put a podium in the middle for people to line up at. The panel will each take their turn, giving between 5 and 10 minutes, and that's what you get to say your piece. And then after everyone's done, then the question and answer period will start after that. And that way it's not being interrupted. Each person gets their time, but they know they're limited in their time, so they have to be very efficient. Otherwise, this could be a 12-hour meeting if we're not careful, and we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that we're respectful for not only the panel's time, but for the public that's coming, because they're coming from Humboldt County all the way to Marin County, and we want to make sure that their time is respected.
And I like the idea of giving people a chance to ask their own questions, but maybe we can put a few frequently asked questions that a lot of people have, so we can kind of narrow down and use our time wisely.
Great idea. Thank you. I like that.
My suggestion.
And am I going too far with this? Please stop us if we are.
And my suggestion, I like that. There's going to be a lot of folks here, and there's going to be a lot of info passed. And I like the strategy of having, and I know we all have our opinion on it. We all probably would want to get up and say something, but I think right now, if the mayor gets up and we have our opinion or our ideas, that we coordinate with him and he becomes our rep to say it. Because if we get all of these Potter Valley and if tribes come on and everybody, and every one of those individuals has to say it, like you said, we're going to turn it into a 12-hour meeting. I think we need to have Cloverdale's rep, we're in, we're out, boom, and move on to the next people. And that information is going to get passed. So I think that's my suggestion. That's what I'm going to do. If I do have some ideas, I'm going to run them by the mayor. And I think we need one rep from Cloverdale, with us all being present at a special meeting, would be the cleanest way to do it. Just my opinion, so.
Also with that, I see it came out on social media. Is there any other way we are contacting the public to let them know?
Yes, so that is in a weekly newsletter put out by the Mendocino County Farm Bureau, the Sonoma County Farm Bureau, the Potter Valley Alliance, and someone else. I don't know who they were or who they represent, but they asked if they could use our flyer and pass it out. And I said, absolutely. There's one by us, and there was one that someone else did as a regional.
So with that being said, it is a water issue. Is there any way we could put a flyer in the water bill that would reach all the?
This is happening next week, so I don't know if we have the time.
Right.
But absolutely, I would, if we do this again in the future, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of these, and not just Cloverdale. But I think
We should
Cloverdale's the tip of the spear
start doing that.
Yeah, as the more information comes out, that's a great idea.
Yep.
I just wanted to say I like the vice mayor's idea of keeping it short and having one person represent all of this.
And with that, I want all your input, so you can provide it to Kevin and Alex, you can provide it to me, whatever you want, but I work with them on this as who I focus with, so that we don't have any Brown Act issues with this. And then my ideas are not what I present. I present and represent what the city council and the city of Cloverdale wants. So there's parts of this that I feel that I'm not touching on by a long shot. There's things with this that basically my idea, and like we ran by, is we're hitting like 2 main points: health and safety. We're leaving it at that. And that's, everyone else can nitpick how they want or how it fits them, because that's their choice. And Cloverdale's going to focus on our health and safety because it really affects us in that way. And I think that that's something that everyone of this council would agree on.
And I'll just add to something the mayor mentioned at the beginning of his statement is if you want to add things, just send them to Kevin. Just that way we are avoiding, having the mayor talking to 5 people and accidentally having a Brown Act violation.
Really have to be careful of that with things like this. And thank you guys for not asking a lot of questions and making this another violation. Any other reports from any other? Okay. We'll move into the legislative reports, the letters of support and opposition. We had a Potter Valley Project letter to Supervisor Gore Rabbit and Representative Congressman Jared Huffman, as our city manager stated. Did you attach that letter? Yes, you did. Perfect. So letter is attached. Is this the one, did you do just that one from the city council that's on here? Because I know that I had one, the fire had one, and the city had one.
We had just the councils.
Okay.
And this is just the one, as an example. It's not even the signed one. It's the one that went to Rabbit, but because they were the same letter.
So there's 3 different letters that were sent, and the city has access to these 3?
Yeah, we'll put them on the next council meeting.
Or if you want, you don't even have to do that. If you want them, because you can just provide them to council members as they choose. City manager report.
Yeah, just real quick, we were fortunate that the League of Cities California Planning Commissioners Academy was in Santa Rosa this year. So we were able to send more commissioners, we didn't have to pay for the travel and all that, so we were able to send Commissioner Carney, Cadle, and Spengler and Waggy all attended the League of Cities Planning Commission Academy last week. So we're looking forward to hearing their report out at the next meeting. Also at the Planning Commission, they nominated Chair Spengler again and Commissioner Acey as the Vice Chair.
Great, thank you. Nothing from, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move into council direction on any future agenda items. Does anyone have any items they would like to have? Please, go ahead.
I went to the presentation that Supervisor Gore and some other people did on the Council on Aging recently at the Senior Center. And I know we have a lot of subcommittees, and we're trying to have less, but I was thinking only, if it met only like twice a year, if we could have a subcommittee regarding seniors, like Healdsburg has one, Windsor has one, that way seniors could come to us and tell us what their needs are. It seems like transportation is a huge need, and that way we could connect with our seniors and make sure they're getting their needs served better.
So would that be something that we would bring to like an admin subcommittee to discuss or is it something we would discuss here? We can put it on as a discussion item here. How would you want it?
You could do it either way. The council is going to need to approve the creation of it. So if you want to send it to the subcommittee first to discuss or just bring it back here, either way works.
Who is the representative for the senior center? Is that me? I don't remember that one.
It's you.
Because it was changed and I don't remember. It's me, it's you and I. Perfect. Why don't we meet with Sandra and Melanie from the senior center and get their opinions on everything and see what they would like to see, and we can go from there. Awesome. Does that work for you? Does that sound fair or?
That's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Clarification for the record, we don't need that to be in a future agenda item. We'll take that.
Not yet, at this point, but Councilmember Marquez and I will reach out. Anything else from anyone for future agenda items? Seeing none, thank you for, you almost made it. Thank you everyone for being here. Meeting adjourned 7:10.